Okay, I'm going to make some fermented pickles. I got some banana peppers here. I'm going to pickle these too. What you do is I usually soak it in some ice water. I've scrubbed and cleaned them all real well. Um, some small ones, some medium ones, a couple big ones. Just came out of my garden. So I'm going to take those and I'm going to put together a brine. And then I'm going to put them in this crock pot. So I love this crock pot. This has got a lid that goes on it, and then you fill it with water right here. And it doesn't allow any air in, so it's really excellent. Check out that crock. Nice. This is made by, let's see, I use it for my sauerkraut too. So it's called Sour Crock Humble House. Bought it online, used it several times, and I really like it. And then also what I've got going on is this is another batch that I have going on right now. Just keep it covered up. Take these covers off. And inside I've got some pickles brewing in there. Yeah, that water's that is getting cloudy. That you'll skim the scum off the top. And underneath there are pickles being made. Oh man, if you could smell that, it smells delicious. So I'm going to show you tonight, basically, how I do this. Don't have a real good setup here to video, but I'll give you a rundown. So here's what I'm going to do. This is the crock I'm going to use. These are cucumbers I'm going to use. And in a second, I'll give you the recipe. We'll go over, I'll set all the stuff out and I'll show you how I do it. Set it up. Pretty simple. 30-45 minutes. You have them in the crock, and about 4 to 7 days later, the pickles start getting this really incredible flavor, and I'll show you how I do that. All right, I'm going to pause you for a little bit, and we'll come back in a second. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I like filtered water. I don't like the stuff with the chlorine in it. So what I have is I have a Brita, and I keep that in my refrigerator all the time for drinking water, and then for making any kind of dishes that require filtered or water with no chlorine. You can see there's some pickles that I made about a week and a half ago. Oh my goodness, they are incredible. So I'm going to take and I'm going to get 8 ounces of water. Actually, I'm going to get I'm probably going to be 16, maybe 24 ounces of water. It's a little bigger crock, and I will take that, put that in the crock with my other additional spices and flavors and different stuff, and I'll show you how to do this. So I'm going to fill up with some water. Okay, so here's what I got going on. I have mixed I use kosher salt. What I like to use is Morton kosher salt. You can also use sea salt or canning salt, but you don't want anything with iodine in it. And I've got 12 quarts of water. I've put in a 1/3 cup of salt. Sometimes I'll do 8 quarts and use a 1/4 cup, but this is 12 quarts, 12 cups of water, and 1/3 cup of Morton coarse kosher salt. You want to stir it. Sometimes I'll put it on the stove and I'll heat it and let it melt faster, quicker, but then I got to let it cool. Then what I have is I have jalapenos, 1 large jalapeno. I've got some dill. I've got about 1.5 teaspoons of peppercorns. Got a teaspoon of coriander and garlic. And what I'll do is, the garlic's not peeled yet, but if you put it in a bowl and then you take another bowl and you place it on top of it and you shake that really hard, it's amazing how well those peel. So I'm going to do that right now and show you the outcome. Watch this. Okay, so I shook it for just a couple of minutes, and what's happening is it's starting to break up. And what'll happen is, if you look, all the shell is off of them. So I stop for a second. I'll take out, all the shell that came off, the skin or covering, and then I'll reshake it 2 or 3 more times, and pretty soon I'll end up with just a bunch of, like that one, all peeled. Pretty easy. It's got a little blemish on it. I'll cut that off before I put it in there. But pretty cool. Pretty cool little trick. Also another little trick I can teach you is it's hard to get dill sometimes. So I'll take my dill when I buy a bunch of it, and I'll lay some of it out on a metal cookie tray. Wash it off, lay it on the cookie tray wet, throw that in the freezer, and it's kind of flash freezes it. Then you pull it out, put it in a freezer bag, and you throw it back in the freezer. And when you pull it out, it still smells and tastes is just as good as when it went in. So that is what I did here. So this was in the freezer, and it just came out. You can't smell it, but man, it is strong. Got a good strong dill flavor. But I used that the last time I made pickles, and then I flash freezed it. All right, let's go move on to the next. Oh, here's my pickles. See, those are cooling. I get them in some ice, let them cool. They've been there for about 30 minutes. And I'll put those in the crock. All right, move on to the next. Okay, so I've got all my ingredients, some dill, my garlic. I like to chop it up a little bit. I do add about a teaspoon of dried dill. Bay leaves. This helps keep the pickles crisp. Something in the bay leaves keep it crisp. I have a really good source for this at my mom's house. She has a giant bay leaf tree, and I go pick them off of there. Little black pepper, the corns, coriander, and fresh jalapeno right out of my garden. There is the salt brine all mixed together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to take my pickles, my cucumbers out of here. They've been soaking in the water for about 35-40 minutes. I'm going to place them on the bottom of the tub. So I'm going to do the big ones first. And then I'm just going to slowly place them on the bottom. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of dill. Take a little bit of this. We're just gonna add it down there on the bottom. And then I'm gonna put some more pickles on top. Okay. And one more. That's it. So all my pickles are in there. I'm going to put the rest of the dill. I'm going to stick it on top. And I got the dill on top there. I'm going to take my salt brine and I'm going to pour it on top. You want to make sure you have enough to cover the pickles. So it looks like I got just enough. Yeah, I may add a little bit more, but that looks pretty good. And then I add my ingredients. Throw in some bay leaf. I'm going to throw in peppercorn. A little bit of the dried dill. Garlic. Fresh jalapeno. And coriander. That's it. That's all that's to it. Kind of mix this up a little bit, get it in there. Yes, my hands are clean. I've washed them 100 times today. So now the trick is you want to keep your pickles below the brine. So what I use is a pair of these. These are weights. So they'll go in, and I'll put 2 of them in. And these will keep the pickles submerged below the brine. and I'll take it and I'll set that over to the side. I'll put the lid on it. I'll fill this area with water, and that is now airtight, and it lets the fermentation process happen. And the longer you let it ferment, the more sour the pickle becomes. When I'm done with this, there's a second step that I do take the pickles out, and I have a vinegar brine that I put them in, a clear vinegar brine when I can them and I put them in the refrigerator. Just the pickles alone, and pretty cool. Gives it a little more tart taste, but the flavor of these are outstanding. So that's it for tonight. Thank you.